Hello and welcome to the December 2018 update from Dean Park. In this update I'll be going through what I've been getting up to on the layout, any additions that I've put on, and what my plans are for the new year. There'll be the usual running shots in between information clips, but this time what I've tried to do is do a bit of then and now. So I've gone back into the archives of my videoing and I've come up with some shots and some stills from the layout years ago, and I've kind of tried to do a then and now to show you how it's progressed over the last 7 years as I come up to my 7th year anniversary for starting the YouTube channel. Hope you enjoy. Any questions as always, please do get in touch. One of the upgrades I've been doing in December is fitting the sound decoder to this Bachmann Class 40. As I indicated in my November update, I bought myself the decoder and speakers when I was down at Worley, and the link for my Worley video is at the top of the screen now if you've not seen some of the running shots from that great show. I tried to get a twin iPhone speaker into the Class 40 to obviously play the sounds, but I was struggling to get the body back on, and it would have resulted in me taking out the roof fan there, which you can obviously see there, the red fan, and it left actually quite a prominent hole in the top of the Class 40 and you'd see right into the speaker. I don't really like that, so what I did instead was I got twin sugar cube speakers. There's one placed under the fan in a very shallow enclosure, and the other one is along the other end of the loco. It's about here, and that's in a deeper enclosure because there's more space there, and the result of that spacing out the two speakers has given me a fuller sound along the length of the loco. Being a Class 40, it's quite long anyway, and I felt that was the best option for me without obviously starting to hack bits and pieces out of the chassis. It, in my opinion, gives a good deep and varied sound of the Class 40, and I'll run through some of the sounds with you just now. I'll put on at the bottom of the screen what the sound actually is, and then I'll fire her up and take her around the layout. It'll always start for the first time with a cold start. F0 is still the lights, and the good thing about this is the domino head code lights are particularly dim, just like the earlier diesels were. Obviously you could vary that by changing the series if you so desired. One thing you've noticed there when I put the horns on, it's got a two-tone horn and it's playable, especially on my Ecos with the little lever. Depending on which direction the loco is facing, the tones of the horns are different. I actually think it sounds better facing with the number 2 end driving than the number 1 end, but you know, that's just my personal preference. It's quite impressive that he's actually managed to work that into the recording. At the moment you can hear the Spirex valve there ticking away, but I'm sure when I fired it up there and pulled out the station, you got a sense of the power of the loco coming through the sound, and that's what really impresses me about the Class 40 recording from Lego Man Biffle. A bit of an unexpected purchase this month was the Oxford Mark 3A in Intercity blue-grey livery, which you see sitting beside the Bachmann Mark II F DBSO. When I bought the DBSO down at Worley, I kind of put the coach kind of beside a Mark 3A from Oxford, and I thought, you know what, there's not much of a difference in the blue there, the shade of blue. Whilst there is a difference, I still think the Bachmann one is better. It's not a million miles away from the Oxford one. So I decided to buy a short rake of the Oxford Mark 3As to run in an early ScotRail push-pull formation, which tended to be made up from 3 Tourist Open Mark 3As and a First Open Mark 3A along with the DBSO. So you're still talking 5 coaches. When it got to the stage of having the blue stripe ScotRail Mark 3As, they tended to take one of the First Open coaches and half it and make it a composite coach, because there wasn't the need for a full first class coach on what in essence was a short journey between Edinburgh Waverley and Glasgow Queen Street. So I'm quite impressed. I've done a review on the Oxford Mark III previously, the link's at the top of the screen, albeit it was in the Intercity Swallow livery. I think this livery in front of you is a better representation than the red stripe Swallow one. it is a lot closer to being correct, well, shall I say, to matching other brands of coach. My first shout out this month is to AY76. Ian across at Kilbreck is celebrating his 11th year on YouTube. Congratulations, Ian, and all the best for the next 11 years. Maybe your layout will be finished within that time, but as we discussed earlier, a layout's never finished, it just evolves. So all the best, and thanks for 11 years of entertainment. This month saw the completion of the building site with the addition of the white van, and it's from Watson's Roofing Construction, and I got the waterslide decals made for me by Justin at Scale Model Scenery, and on the back there it's got Watson Roofing Construction 031 87 90 91, 3 classes of local that I just thought I'd put, and I've given it a very subtle, you see on the base there, a bit of a Humbrol 29 airbrushed on, a bit of grime, and the same around the front bumper, and obviously where the muck gets thrown up on the back. And I've given it a light dusting over the rest of the body, just take the white sheen off it. So that's going there. He's doing a site visit, checking up his workers with the truss work on the roofs. My next shout out is to Amery Junction. It's a channel I came across recently, and I've been really enjoying some of the videos that he's uploaded. So if you want to head over to Amery Junction, the link's at the top of the screen now to see what he's up to. I'd like to take a minute to highlight this new storage unit I've got, and this is from EBMA Hobbycraft. Website is www.ebmahobby.co.uk. They're laser cut MDF 3 and 6mm. This is actually 2 units. The bottom unit is a 3-drawer paint storage, the top unit is more of a desk tidy, and they're actually aligned using small magnets. So I've got a small magnet there which also relates and lines up with the magnet on the base of this unit, and they click together and become one. And there are also holes at the side there if you wish to add linear units, so obviously you can align them all and keep them neat and tidy. I say the laser cut MDF 3 and 6mm fit together very well, very tight fittings, a bit of PVA to hold it all in place. I think this whole thing took me about 2.5 hours to do from scratch, and that's both units. And the bottom one is just basically 14mm tinlets of paint, so your precision paints and your Humbrol etc, and your Rebel. You can see there I've got my paints in the bottom 2 drawers. I've not managed to fill the top one yet. The top section is more of a desk tidy with small drawers. I've got some specialist brushes in there, my filing sticks and whatnot. Here, just general storage. You could fit a ruler in there, or a steel rule. Up the top here is more paint storage, tool storage, scissors, whatever really you want. You can actually adapt the tops there. They give you extra tops that you can, bespoke it, and extra bases to fit inside there to separate them at the base. So I thought it was quite a good idea to have this in my office downstairs where I do most of my detailing for locos and bits and pieces of painting and stuff like that. My third and final shout out in this video is to the Whalley Model Rail Club's YouTube channel. Relatively new to YouTube, and they're rapidly building their subscriber base. Obviously I worked with them during 2018 with the wagon competition and then the Whalley ticket competition. So if you'd like to head across to their YouTube channel and see what they're up to, I'm sure you'll be impressed by some of the content. Something I've been really busy on this month is the planning and the making of the embankment, which you see before you. What I've used for this is a combination of Cellutex foam and plaster cloth, covered in paint, and then with some Woodland Scenics fine turf and coarse turf scatters. And at the moment it's just in the process of drying. And as you can see, the retaining wall now gives the cut-in effect to allow the siding to almost eat into the embankment, which is what they would have done to give themselves extra space where the land needed to be obviously re-landscaped to fit more running lines in. The step nature of the slightly curved retaining wall would be there for obviously holding back the landmass behind it. It's obviously got to be detailed, buttresses, capping stones and ridge stones, etc., which will happen in January. You'll get a better view of the retaining wall here. At the moment, as I said, I've just got the base layer of scenic material in. The siding will be given a pretty overgrown, weedy look, especially at the end where the buffer stock will be, because it doesn't get used that much. Hence I've not cleaned the tops of the rails for the last, I would say, 2 feet of the actual siding. So you'll not get any live traffic coming in there. It'll just maybe be the odd abandoned wagon or coach. But I say it'll have the treatment with the longer static grasses. If you look where the landscape meets the retaining wall there and the buttress, I tried to do as neat a cut-in as I could without getting any of the glue, scatter material or plaster on the actual retaining wall. I'll be doing a how-to video on how I did the whole embankment from start to finish, and it will go through hopefully the details that you need to be able to carry out this enjoyable simple task on your own layout. This large flat area will be a focus for next year, and it will be an industrial estate area, possibly Royal Mail Post Office sorting depot. We might have a builder's merchants and maybe another couple of industrial units positioned here as well. I'm not sure, it's kind of in my head just now and I'll not be rushing it. I want to make a good job of it, so I'll wait until I have that little bit of inspiration to finally start putting things down onto the layout. Just before I go, I'd like to give you a brief update as to my plans for the TMD side of the layout, which is next on my to-do list. It's obviously been built for some years now, and I've done a lot of testing of the track work to make sure that I'm happy with the functionality of it. The buildings that are situated just now are all Bachmann Scenecraft. The shed in the very far of your picture the modern shed will probably be replaced with an alternative pitched roof 2-lane servicing shed, more substantial size, and I feel a bit more realistic. I like the Bachmann Scenecraft one, however it doesn't have any shutter doors and it's very open. I'd like the yellow and black stripy doors, if you like, to kind of seal the shed when it's not in use. The shed right in front of you here, the 2-lane with the pitched roof, that'll probably stay. I quite like it. It's one of Scenecraft's best items actually. It's really detailed and very well weathered as well. So that'll probably stay there, and it's got the 2 servicing pits underneath the tracks there as well. The single lane one just to the right of the shot here, again that'll probably stay in some capacity. The reason it's there in relation to the 2-lane one is this is very, very, very loosely based on Haymarket. So I've tried to incorporate some of the layout ideas from Haymarket. Obviously, being the size that I've got available, it's not going to be possible to recreate Haymarket. I'm not deluding myself on that front. I'll just lift the camera up here and explain what I'm going to do, or what I'm going to do in my thoughts this week anyway. This section along here, where all the junk is stored just now, that might be slightly raised, maybe by 9-10 mil, with a small wall going along, part of it anyway, and obviously depot buildings will be placed there, probably low relief ones as well. This area here as well, maybe a depot office, and with regard to the level I'm not quite sure. As I say, the small level will just be, you know, trackside out there, a small brick wall, just to kind of give it a bit more depth and a bit more height as well. It'll be ballasted with fine ballast, very dirty, oily, greasy ballast, and in between I might use the postcrete idea again and weather that down, because obviously in between the tracks, you know, it's general muck and weeds and stuff will come through as well. I've got depot lights. I've had them for about a year and a half now from Express Models, 3 tall LED brass etched depot lights. They will be positioned along here to give the full illumination of the TMD at nights, and I will be electrifying the whole main line along here, probably with the dapple masts. I don't know if I've got the strength in me to do more of those scratch built ones, but only spanning 2 rails. I'll probably not need to do any more than the dapple masts there. Obviously when I've got the 4 here, I'm going to have to put a cross span in there, and my thoughts just now are to electrify this line and this line to allow the Class 87s, 85, the 90 when it comes on stream, you never know, a Class 90 in the future, just so they can be stored there without having to be dragged in by a diesel loco. So that's the plans anyway. It'll all come to fruition hopefully one day. Well, that's it from Dean Park for 2018. I hope you've enjoyed the videos this year. I'd like to thank you for all your support, comments and suggestions that you've given along the way. They do get read, and I take on board as many as you can in order to improve my layout in the future. On that note, I'd like to wish you a happy new year and all the best for 2019. Cheers! I hope you enjoyed that video. If you have, why not check out one of my earlier videos? Or if you'd like something from the Network South East region, click on Richard from Everard Junction. The links are on the screen.